Hello, Maurieo! Let's convert some units. Alright, here we are. We've got 6.4 times 10 to the negative 9 kilograms. And we want to convert that to a unit with the correct prefix. So 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. 1 times 10 to the power of 3 grams. But 1 times 10 to the power of 3 is also known as 10 to the power of 3. Multiplying by 1 changes nothing. 750 times 1, 750. 4,327 times 1, 4,327. So we can sort of leave the 1 out there if we want to, although sometimes it is useful to have it in. So here's our 6.4 times 10 to the negative 9 kilograms. We're going to convert it to grams by multiplying it by 10 to the power of 3. Okay, now when we do that, we get 6.4 times 10 to the negative 9 plus 3 grams. Need to know a little bit of information about this negative 9 plus 3. When multiplying powers, we add the exponents. So 10 to the power of 2 times 10 to the power of 3 equals 10 to the power of 2 plus 3, which equals 10 to the power of 5. The bases must be the same, however. So if you, say for instance, take 10 to the power of 2, that's 10 times 10 times 10 to the power of 3, which is 10 times 10 times 10. So there's 5, 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. 5 times 10 to the power of 5. Just an easier way of writing it. It's like shorthand, really. Maths, there's a lot of symbols and things, just to save a bit of time. The bases must be the same. And for those of you who thought algebra was never much, didn't mean a hell of a lot, I can just put it down here, put it out there for you. X to the power of A times x to the power of B is equal to x to the power of A plus B. Base is all the same. You can add the exponents, A and B in this case. Alright, so that gives us 6.4 times 10 to the negative 9 plus 3. Negative 9 plus 3 is negative 6. 6.4 times 10 to the power of negative 6 grams. Now, it's back to our old 1 times 10 to the power of negative 6 grams. It's actually called the 10 to the negative 6 is a micro. The microgram. And that means that we can then write this even shorter again. 6.4 mu g, where the mu is a Greek lowercase letter from the Greek alphabet. Must be written very carefully with the tail at the front like that. Because it can be mistaken for other things, and these can have quite disastrous consequences, particularly if you're a patient at a hospital, where by using the wrong symbol, and you could check this out on Wikipedia just by typing in micrograms, put this in on Wikipedia and some people will get 10 times more of a particular drug than they should have got because the symbol was written incorrectly. And this might be a time to introduce this very useful maths and physics website, which is www.wolframalpha.com. Wolf as in the sort of relative of dogs. Ram is the male of the sheep breed. And alpha, the first letter of the Greek alphabet. Well, one of the alphabets anyway. wolframalpha.com. Now you go to that website. It can be a little bit cantankerous, but type in 6.4 times 10, and that's the little caret thing. I think it's above the 6 to the power of negative 9. So that's how you put powers in sometimes into things by using that little, I call it the caret, but it's above the 6. The negative 9 kilograms. Put that in and see what you get. It gives you some interesting information, and it also gives you the answer that I've got down here. So good luck with all that. Let's have a look at another one. Okay. 7,461 megajoules per year. Convert this to watts. And a watt is a joule per second. Note that M that I've got there, it's a capital M. I think it's a little j. Yeah, perhaps. I might be able to put a little dot on top of that j there if I just sneak in here. If you'll let me. There, put a little dot. Oh, oops. Needs to have the layer visible. Using Smooth Draw here, free program that you can get on the web, driven by a Wacom tablet. This is the type of software that the Khan Academy uses. You may be familiar with that. So there you go. Convert that to joules per second. So that's just that s to the negative 1. So just have a little bit of a sidebar on that. 1 over 100 or 100ths as a fraction, and that's equal to 1 over 10 squared, obviously 10 to the power of 2. Now if we have like 10 to the power of 2, if we have the 10 to the power of 2 on the bottom, we can actually flip that up to the top and show it as a negative 2. So I've just lightly scribbled in there a magenta sort of 1 just to show you that it's over 1. So basically you flip things up round the other way, change the sign. So 1 over 10 to the power of 2 is equal to 10 to the power of negative 2. And that's also equal to 0.01 100th. And the way to check that out, back in the day when I went to school, when we had to do these things, 0.01, you put a 1 for the point and a 0 for each number, and that's equal to, as you can see, I've lightly crossed out the 0 and the point there, 1 over 100, which is where we started from, and this is part of the sort of how maths all ties together. It can be quite elegant sometimes in the way that it keeps bringing you back to where you started from. And just for those, a little bit of algebra there, x to the power of a is equal to 1 over x to the power of negative a, which is, flip it over, change the sign of the exponent. X to the power of negative a is equal to 1 over x to the power of a. So back to our joules per second, which is sort of how you would say it, or joules per second, equals J, or joules, over s to the power of 1, just flipping it there, or sometimes written J slash s, which is just a way of writing it on one line rather than taking two. It's easier to write. Joules per second. Alright, now let's get back to the problem. Now 1 year is approximately 365.25 days. That's sort of allowing for leap year. It's sort of the time it takes the sun to go around for the Earth to go around the sun once. It's approximately there. It's actually 0.24 something, but we'll go 0.25. It's close enough. Now 365.25 days at 24 hours, each hour at 60 minutes, and each minute at 60 seconds. We multiply that all out and we get that huge number there, which I'm just trying to work out what it is. 31,557,600 seconds in a year. Roundabout. Give or take. Now, and 1 megajoule equals 1 times 10 to the power of 6 joules. 10 to the power of 6. We get that from our prefixes and things. So 7461 megajoules equals 7461 times 10 to the power of 6 joules. And 7461 megajoules per year equals 7461 times 10 to the power of 6, there's your joules, over 31557 600 seconds. So we got joules over seconds, joules per second, and that equals 236.4248 joules per second. You'll note that what we're doing here is we're just keeping an eye on the units, and we're sort of keeping an eye on the units in terms of algebra and how it means. So we're actually dealing with the units as an item together with the numbers, and this is a common theme in science. As we keep our, what we do to the numbers, we do the same thing to the associated units, and we must have the units must be in sync with each other. 236.4248 joules per second. Now that's a very precise answer, and I think it's actually rounded to 4 decimal places there. We're dealing with quite large numbers, but what did we start with? Well, 7461 megajoules is, it's sort of to the nearest megajoule. So, I think we'd be pushing it. So I've just rounded this, and I've shown how I like to do this is to show my calculation to a number of decimal places, and then I just round it to what I think is appropriate. In this case, I've put one significant figure, I mean 1 decimal place. So if you just bear with me there, apologies for that. I'll just no, I've got 3 significant figures there. I'm just going to cut that out there because I've made a little mistake. So let's just go edit, cut, and I'm just going to get my red pen here, make sure I've got the right on, and I'm just going to turn my red pen on, and that will be 3 significant figures. Okay, that's better. Okay, alright, one more, and this one here. Okay, convert 32 meters per second squared. That's per second squared. The per sort of means you're over something. So it's meters over seconds squared, but brought up to the top, as I explained before, gives it a negative exponent. And we want to convert that to kilometers per hour squared. Alright. Now, over to the side here. A kilometer is 1,000 meters. So 1 meter is 1,000th, or 1 over 1,000 kilometers. An hour is 60 by 60, which is 3,600 seconds. So 1 second is 1 over 3,600 hours. Now, 1 over, so that's the purple sidebar, or the magenta sidebar. So let's put that into our calculation. So we've got 32 times, and then we've got meters. We want that to be kilometers, so to convert that to kilometers, the meters to kilometers, we've got to divide multiply by 1 over 1,000, or divide 1 meter by 1,000. And then we've got seconds per second squared. Now, the seconds, to convert them to hours, I've put them in a bracket like that, and that gives us 1 over 3,600, but that's to the power of -2. So that's a bit interesting. How are we going to deal with just that little bit there? I mean, just looking ahead here, 32 times 1 over 1,000, 32 over 1,000, we can deal with that, but whoa. Okay, well, let's have a look. So 1 over 3,600, we could write that as 3,600 to the power of -1. That's a way that we can do it. Now, and then we want to square that. So 1 over 3,600, or sorry, raise it to the power of negative 2, technically is correct. So that would be equal 3,600 to the power of negative 1. That's all in brackets to the power of negative 2. So we have got a way of dealing with these exponents like that. And in this case here, where they're power on power, we multiply them. Now it looks a bit awkward with all the negatives there, but yeah, it works on the positive side and also works on the negative. So there we've got 3,600 to the power of negative 1 times negative 2. Negative times a negative is a positive. 3,600 squared to the power of 2. For the algebra people there, and all you people that thought algebra was you'd never ever use it again in your life, here it is here. X to the power of a all to the power of b is equal to x to the power of ab. So you just multiply. So pretty simple now. Just into the calculator, and 32 divided by 1,000 times 3,600 squared gives you 414,720 kilometers per hour squared. And I can assure you that's one hell of an acceleration. Okay, there you go. Just a few little conversions for you. Hopefully that's explained a few things and tidied it all up for you.